Anthony Joshua totally lost it on Daniel Dubois at a new public interview this end of the week. Simply pulls back from Wembley Arena. The genuine activity starts as punches fly in a warmed fight. Lives on Sky Sports Film Industry. Joshua shadow boxed with accuracy, his clenched hands cutting through the air in musical blasts. Occasionally, he sprang up high liquid. At this point, controlled. His developments were loosened up easy, yet kept his actual expertise covered. He worked merrily among beginner fighters from Finchley, his unique club, whose shadow unclosed with him. The ring, Joshua uncovered his outlook, paving the way to the huge battle, quiet and calm, with various title sessions added to his repertoire and a lot of involvement with Wembley Arena. His self-control was obvious. He emanated certainty, plainly undaunted by the magnitude existing apart from everything else. There's no feelings, no feelings, he demanded the last week in front of the battle. For him is seriously talking more preparation in particular, and strolling into the ring before 96,000 individuals prepared to show my gladiatorial soul. Dubois then again is developing my energy for the opposition every day. Dubois, transcending figure, skimmed along the edge of the ring, flicking sharp pokes out of sight prior to associating with the froth noodles held by his associate mentor Kieran Farrell. His exposed, clenched hands snapped strongly against the cushions, and he streaked looks at his refined head development, dodging under the noodle as Farrell swiped it toward him. He glopped up and whacked a couple of mixes into the cushions prior to surrendering. His actual arrangements are done. He's intellectually planning for the occasion at Wembley Arena. Dubois said it's all essential for the pre-battle custom. I'm making an insincere effort and developing my energy for Saturday. I'm prepared to battle, so I'm in a decent spot right now. I realize I really want to go to another level, my absolute best. I can hardly hang tight for the test on Saturday. I've recently buckled down in the rec center. I've languished and buckled down over long stretches of time, so I'm prepared to battle currently following the exercise. The occasion saw Chris Congo secure a success against Jacob Quinn, while Adam Hamd, child of the unbelievable ruler Nassim, guaranteed a 4-round win over Santiago Guerres. Dubois said, "You're attempting to ration energy the 7-day stretch of a battle. I realize Joshua doesn't need to make weight. He needs to do a ton of media stuff, and that is all energy draining." He's most likely reasoning, "I have the question and answer session tomorrow. What is it that I should hit cushions for? I've accomplished practically everything. I'm sharp and fit. It is something pleasant to get the children too. Truly, you were unable to understand anything intellectually." He looks loosened up. It's not his most memorable rodeo, is it? Joshua Dubois and the whole setup of warriors are raising a ruckus around town for public exercises at Wembley Field, preparing for the large confrontation this Saturday at Wembley Arena. Furthermore, the occasion will highlight 3 energizing matchups, including sessions displaying Adam Hamd, child of English boxing symbol Nassim Hamd, and Chris Congo, each battling in their own separate challenges following his Focus's triumph over Tyson Rage. Usyk cleared the IBF World Heavyweight title, which was raised to Dubois' ownership. Dubois crushed Filip Hrgović by stoppage in 8 rounds, procuring him the IBF break title. "I really want to legitimize it, win it, and show the world I am the man," Dubois said. He added, "It is completely intended to be. I'm perfectly positioned brilliantly, and I simply have to remain in my air pocket and remain on track. I'm hands-on. He will bring it, and I will bring it, knockout, no holds barred." In spite of the fact that Joshua has been an installation in the boxing scene for a really long time, with this battle considered by a lot of people to be a significant stage towards asserting his 3rd world title, the contender stays unfaltering in his assurance to continue to push forward. As a matter of fact, he actually imagines himself confining major matches in 4 years. Joshua said, "How much would I like to win? A ton. I really buckle down. I have held my head down. I have supplicated, and what will be will be. I will pass on it to the enormous man higher up where I'm at in my vocation. If I had any desire to battle for an additional 4 years, I could do that. Simple. My body is great." He added, "I was with the physio today, and he resembled I work with a ton of competitors, and you truly deal with your body and your joints. I will battle somebody who needs it and is energetic. I will blossom with that. He will blossom with that. It will be an electric air." In the lead up to his bid to recover a previous title on Saturday night, Chris Eubank Jr. has commended Joshua as a motivation. "In the event that you get hit on the jawline, you will go down." Triumphs against Jermaine Franklin, Robert Helenius, Otto Wallen, and star-turned-fighter Francis Ngannou have launched Joshua back into the world title spotlight. In the meantime, Eubank Jr., who is preparing for his rebound against Camille Sita 1 month from now after over a year away respects the 2012 Olympic gold medalist. There is only regard for something to that effect, Eubank Jr. told Sky Sports News. He added, I understand the stuff to return from route and go through. Those devils go through those dim times. Nevertheless, trust in yourself when such countless individuals don't. He has done that on various events now, and I know how hard that is, so watching him go through them losses and presently reliably dynamic, taking on these large battles, taking on these huge names, winning these battles, it is astonishing, it is moving. Dubois has been arranging a critical rebound since his disagreeable loss to Usyk last August. During that battle, knockdown of the Ukrainian was considered a cheap shot by the ref before Dubois was stopped in the 10th round. Eubank Jr. solidly accepts that the 27-year-old was unfairly treated in his session against Usyk and is certain that Dubois has the stuff to pull off a surprising triumph. This end of the week, Eubank Jr. said, I think he beat Usyk. That body shot was a blow, as I would see it, so he ought to have beaten him. That didn't occur yet. He is a major kid. He is solid. He can hit a J, no matter what his experience needs to remain on his P's and Q's constantly. Or we will get a bombshell as far as experience and battling ability. Eubank Jr. figures Joshua will beat Dubois on Saturday. He doesn't expect the session extending to every one of the 12 booked adjusts anyway. He's been advised that Dubois has the capacity to win over any snag, assuming he interfaces with one of his strong punches. Eubank Jr. said, I think Joshua outguns Dubois in many regions, yet the thrilling thing about heavyweight boxing is one punch can change and every one of the one punch can end everything. So despite the fact that I really do accept on an expertise level of intelligence experience level that AJ has him outgunned, all that can change in a brief moment with these enormous young men land a shot, and it doesn't make any difference the number of levels above you that are assuming you get hit on the jaw. You will go down with fervor mounting over a potential conflict between Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois. A few of boxing's regarded examiners have shared their bits of knowledge on the reasonable elements of the session. The game is abuzz with expectations, each contrasting in context. Yet a bringing together subject arises. This session could eventually depend on a sensational conflict between unrestrained power, refined strategy. Joseph Parker has fought with Joshua previously, so he realizes that the previous boss enjoys the benefit. Parker states Joshua is the more talented and experienced contender, surrendering Dubois' capacity to complete battles by knockout, yet having a special interest in Joshua's lifespan in the game and specialized predominance. When matters here warmed insight in his point of view will matter. Carl Frock, a previous individual from the Matchroom and Ransack McCracken group, repeats a comparable perspective, eminent for his relentless, battling soul and unfaltering assurance. FR is persuaded that Joshua's carefully prepared experience will give him huge benefit, he added. Dubois has power, no question, except for against somebody like Joshua, he could end up outmatched. FR anyway burns through no time in calling attention to that in the event that Dubois hits an unmistakable shot, power can even out any battleground. Tony Bellew, ever the Scouse man, makes a more straightforward expectation. Bellew predicts an early stoppage and accepts Joshua will control from the outset 2 rounds best. Joshua has the speed, power, and guard to take care of Dubois early, he says, with the sort of conviction that comes from having seen everything inside the ropes among England's esteemed bosses. Ricky Hatton shares Chime's opinions, yet with a touch more hold. He gauges that Joshua will outsmart Dubois and at last secure a triumph anyway. He stays vigilant, passing on space for Dubois to substantiate himself. He has a puncher's opportunity, Hatton concedes. After all, nothing changes the result of a heavyweight session more rapidly than a solitary punch. Johnny Nelson, ostensibly the best cruiserweight boss ever, adds his carefully prepared viewpoint to the English boxing discussion. He lines up with Hatton's perspectives, foreseeing that Joshua's insight and strategic sharpness will get him a knockout triumph anyway. Nelson, like numerous others, stays careful about Dubois' imposing power, alerted that Joshua should proceed cautiously to stay away from an abrupt and surprising inversion. This battle won't go all the way Nelson predicts, however. It's about who terrains clean first on the opposite side of the Atlantic. The opinion remains generally steady. Malik Scott Diente, more out of control's coach, shows up with his own take. Scott is sure that Joshua's method and experience will lead him to win, determining a stoppage between the 4th and 7th rounds. He said Dubois is extreme. No inquiry except for Joshua's abilities will separate him. Scott anticipates that AJ should get the lead subsequent to understanding Dubois in the initial adjust. and accepts that Joshua's unrivaled procedure will be the unequivocal component. Robert Garcia, Joshua's past mentor, predicts a knockout triumph for his previous understudy. Garcia comments, AJ's certainty is back concerning Joshua's latest resurgence. In spite of Dubois' heart and striking power, he feels that energy and Joshua's experience will be a lot for the more youthful warrior. The looming confrontation among Joshua and Dubois is set to be a sensational impact of differentiating styles. Joshua, a previous double-cross heavyweight champion, enters the ring with a considerable 28-3 record, including 25 knockouts, and new off a definitive knockout triumph over Francis Ngannou. In the meantime, Dubois, the hard-hitting dark horse, offers a 212 record of real value, with 20 of his successes dropping by knockout. He has returned quickly from a misfortune to Alexander Usyk last year by halting both Filip Hrgovic and Gerald Mill operator. As expectation mounts about whether this matchup will happen as expected, one thing is sure: Joshua's seasoned expertise and specialized artfulness could confront a serious test from Dubois's sheer savage strength. The basic inquiry currently is whether Dubois can convey a game-changing blow, or, on the other hand, assuming Joshua will reaffirm why he has stayed a prevailing power for such a long time.